Good morning, and it is a good morning because for once on this channel I've actually got some good news to present to you, and I'm a little bit late to the party on this one because this was announced on the 29th of November and I'm only just getting to it today because, well, I intended to talk about it last week, but you guys who follow my channel know that I wasn't feeling too well, so blah blah blah. Anyway, let's get to it. Basically, what happened is that on the 29th of November this year, 2018, Nintendo finally got with the 21st century. And what I mean by that is that they've actually decided to end their YouTube Creators Program. Now, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically it meant that if you joined their creators program, you could actually make videos that used Nintendo first party property. So you could show Mario Kart videos, you could show Splatoon videos, stuff like that, and talk over them and all the rest of it. The catch though was that if you joined this program, they could take up to 40% of the ad revenue on those videos. And I've actually seen people who were members of the program uploading videos and saying that they'd virtually seen no money at all from any of their ad revenue, because in effect Nintendo were getting it and then they were doling it out to them, and one guy was getting really upset about it. So it's a pretty draconian setup and nobody was happy about it. And I've spoken about it before and gone on about, I mean I've made videos about it, talking about what a nonsense it was and how Nintendo seemed to be trying to control the narrative. And, you know, they didn't, because if you said something negative about Nintendo, then you could find yourself off the program. So it wasn't very helpful that in terms of presenting genuine, honest, upfront information about Nintendo games, it made it very difficult. And it was even more difficult for those people who weren't on the Creators Program, because if you weren't on the Creators Program, and I actually tried this, I made a couple of short videos just including Nintendo footage with me talking over them, and I never put them live, but they immediately got claimed by Nintendo. So 100% of any ad revenue on any of those videos would have gone to Nintendo, not to me. And so the long and the short of it is that a lot of people, me included, simply weren't uploading anything with Nintendo first party property on it. So I never talked about Mario Kart, I never talked about Splatoon, or at least when I did, I couldn't show any footage. And it kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth, and it put me off talking about Nintendo. And I think it did it for a lot of people. A lot of people simply weren't making videos about Nintendo. And if they were negative, because it was affecting the way we felt about Nintendo, because we simply couldn't go out and just make the video we wanted to make without worrying that we were going to get Nintendo coming and claiming revenue. And so on the 28th, last week I think it was, they finally announced that they were getting rid of this program, and thank God for that. I'm not even religious, but you know, if you believe in God, thank you God, because this is a good one, and just in time for Christmas too. So good news. And also, you know, obviously we've got Smash coming out, so maybe people will be able to put some Smash videos up, and that'd be great. I'd like to be able to watch some Smash videos, and I know my boy will, because he's really looking forward to Smash. This is going to be his first Smash, I believe. So yeah, he's excited about that. So anyway, let's just get to the meat of what Nintendo had to say. They issued this statement on their Nintendo Japan website. And it says, Nintendo Game Content Guidelines for Online Video and Image Sharing Platforms. Bit of a mouthful, but this is what they had to say. And I'll read most of it because it is all pretty pertinent. It says, we are humbled every day by your loyalty and passion for Nintendo's games, characters and worlds, and respect that you want to be able to express yourself creatively by sharing your own original videos and images using content from our games. As long as you follow some basic rules, we will not object to your use of gameplay footage and/or screenshots captured from games for which Nintendo owns the copyright, Nintendo game content. In the content you create for appropriate video and image sharing sites. To help guide you, we prepared the following guidelines. And it says you may monetize your videos and channels using the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Other forms of monetization of our intellectual property for commercial purposes are not permitted. Seems fair enough. We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary. And again, that's fair enough. Obviously, they want you to try and do something new and original rather than just uploading videos of their games. Videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary are not permitted. So that could be an issue for simple Let's Plays, so you may need to take a note of that. You may, however, post gameplay videos and screenshots using Nintendo system features such as the capture button on Nintendo Switch without additional input or commentary. And that's interesting because it actually means that the capture button on the Nintendo Switch may actually be of some use, because if you're capturing Nintendo stuff and you couldn't upload it, and I don't know what the situation was with that before, if you couldn't share it, then obviously that's going to be a problem. And they go on. You are only permitted to use Nintendo game content that has been officially released or from promotional materials officially released by Nintendo, such as product trailers or Nintendo Direct. Now, that's really good because that means that you can look at a Nintendo Direct and you could do a live stream over the Nintendo Direct without worrying that they're going to claim it. You could put a video up using their footage from a Nintendo Direct, that kind of thing. And it looks like they won't claim it. And this is new because in the past, well, as I say, we've always been worried about this. It says, if you want to use intellectual property of a third party, you are responsible for obtaining any necessary third party permissions, which is fair enough. Again, they don't control that. So if it's a game that is on the Switch, but it's not a Nintendo property, then that's not anything to do with them. And you have to get the permission from the third party. Again, fair enough. You're not permitted to imply or state that your videos are officially affiliated with or sponsored by Nintendo. Again, that seems fair enough. They don't want, any Tom, Dick or Harry going out there and pretending that they're part of Nintendo. They don't want me going and pretending I'm part of Nintendo because I'm always critical of them. So that would be bad news for them. I'm probably going to be a little less critical of them now because, like I say, this is them getting with the program. Or not, as the case may be, because they're getting rid of their program. We reserve the right to remove any content that we believe is unlawful, infringing, inappropriate, or not in line with these guidelines. Again, fair enough. There's some grey area there, but we know what this means. We know that they just don't want you bringing something to YouTube or something like that makes Nintendo look bad because it's asking people to break the law or stuff like that. And some of that's already covered by YouTube's guidelines, but Nintendo have to say this. It says, please understand that we will not be able to respond to individual inquiries regarding these guidelines, which is a bit of a shame, but I understand that. Also, we may update these guidelines from time to time, so please refer to the latest version before sharing your content. Again, they're going to say this. Always makes me a little bit worried when I read stuff like this because it means that they could go back and change it and then retroactively start claiming your videos. But let's be honest, if they did that, there would be a huge backlash and Nintendo would only hurt themselves by doing that. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that this is a real step forward for Nintendo. And I actually think that it could help them in future because we've seen this with so many games. I mean, I look at my kid, he comes in and a lot of games he's watching on YouTube. And it makes him want to go and play those games. Platforms like Roblox, games like Minecraft. These games and these platforms have been made more popular by people streaming them, by people making videos about them. People like DanTDM and people like that started out doing mainly Minecraft videos. And I know he does other stuff as well. But my kid watches those things religiously. Or at least he did. He's kind of moved on a bit now. He's getting older. But that meant those games were much more popular amongst kids. And let's be honest, Nintendo, of all the platforms out there, is the platform that appeals to kids. So if they open this up, their sales, well, they could go through the roof as a result of this. You know, they put out a new Mario game and it's all over Twitch and it's all over YouTube. It's only going to increase their sales. Pokemon, you know, I mean, okay, you can show Pokemon stuff, I think, now, because that's not actually owned by Nintendo. It's owned by the Pokemon company. And if I'm wrong on that, let me know. But these things are going to be more popular as a result of this change. And the little bit of money that Nintendo were making from having this out and, you know, claiming this money for the videos that people were putting out, either because people were on their program or because they were just claiming 100% of the revenue for people who weren't on the program, that money would be, well, it's minuscule next to the extra revenue they'll make and the extra visibility they'll get from having this change of policy. I can only see this as a good thing. It's a good thing for the likes of me. Although, I mean, you know, I'm not a great one for reviews. I don't tend to do reviews, but it does open things up and give me the opportunity to talk about Nintendo products a lot more. And people who are big Nintendo, you know, sites, people who are Nintendo fans who want to almost do exclusive Nintendo stuff, this is going to be a big deal for them. I don't see that there's any downside to this. It's a win-win. Nintendo gain, YouTubers gain, streamers gain, everybody gains. There is no downside to this that I can see. So finally, Nintendo, thank you for doing something right and changing a policy in a pro-consumer, pro-user, pro-gamer way. So as I say, yeah, thanks. But anyway, you know, what do you guys think? I'm really up about this. I think this is great news. As I say, I'm a bit late to the party with this, but I had to say something because, as I say, I've been so negative on Nintendo at times, and I think when they do something right, we should say that too. And I think they've done something right here. But let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to do the usual stuff, you know, like, subscribe, all the rest of it. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. And maybe check out my Amazon page. I've got a few little products on there, mostly stuff that I use myself. So check that out as well. That'll help me out. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea. And I will speak to you in the next one. As you can tell, I'm quite up about this. Bye.